The United Kingdom has entered a period of solemn reflection as final tributes unfold for Catherine, Duchess of Kent, whose life and legacy broke with centuries of royal tradition. At precisely midday on Monday, September 15th, the Duchess's coffin arrived at Westminster Cathedral in London, where her historic funeral will take place on Tuesday, September 16th. Members of the Kent family gathered in quiet prayer, led by her devoted husband, the Duke of Kent, now 89 years old. The Duke, walking arm in arm with his daughter Lady Helen Taylor, was joined by other members of the extended Kent family, including Prince Michael of Kent, Lady Gabriella Kingston, Lord Frederick Windsor, and his wife, actress Sophie Winkleman. On Tuesday, the solemnity of her life will be marked with grandeur and reverence. The Prince and Princess of Wales will join the Duke of Kent and other senior royals at the Requiem Mass. Their presence underscores the importance of this historic moment, not just as a farewell to a family member, but as a significant chapter in the evolving traditions of the monarchy. The service will honor both her faith and her life's passions. Known as a quiet yet deeply compassionate figure within the royal family, the Duchess of Kent dedicated much of her energy to charitable causes, particularly in music education. The Duchess of Kent, wife of Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, a first cousin of the late Queen Elizabeth II, passed away on September 4th at the age of 92. Buckingham Palace announced her death the following day, marking the end of a remarkable chapter in royal history. A royal life, shaped by faith and quiet devotion. Catherine, Duchess of Kent, was known not only for her role within the royal family, but also for her deeply personal spiritual journey. In 1994, she made the unprecedented decision to convert to Roman Catholicism, becoming the first member of the royal family to do so since King Charles II's deathbed conversion in 1685. The move made headlines around the world at the time, signaling her independence and her deep personal convictions. It is that faith which will now guide her final farewell. Her funeral will be a Catholic Requiem Mass, the first Catholic funeral for a senior royal in modern British history. Fittingly, it will also be the first royal funeral ever held at Westminster Cathedral since its completion in 1903. In the days leading up to the funeral, the Duchess's coffin rested in the private chapel at Wren House, her residence within the grounds of Kensington Palace. Remarkably, she spent nearly a decade working secretly as a music teacher, determined to bring the joy of music to children from all walks of life. Her service will also reflect her ties to the British Armed Forces. Until her death, she held honorary military appointments, including Deputy Colonel-in-Chief of the Royal Dragoon Guards and the Royal Logistics Corps. Tributes from these regiments will form part of the farewell, honoring her steadfast support for service members and their families. After the Mass, the Duchess's coffin will travel by hearse to the Royal Burial Ground at Frogmore in Windsor. There, she will be laid to rest among generations of royals, including the Duke of Windsor, formerly King Edward VIII, and his wife, Wallis Simpson. As a mark of respect, flags at royal residences across Britain will be lowered to half-mast on the day of her funeral. From Buckingham Palace to Windsor Castle, the gesture will symbolize a nation in mourning and a family saying farewell to one of its most quietly influential members. The Duchess's funeral coincides with preparations for the upcoming state visit by U.S. President Donald Trump, which officially begins on Wednesday, September 17th. While the two events fall side by side on the royal calendar, palace officials have confirmed that the solemnity of the Duchess's farewell will in no way be overshadowed. Instead, her service will stand alone as a moment of reflection and historic significance in the life of the monarchy. As Britain prepares to bid farewell to the Duchess of Kent, her funeral marks not only the closing of a personal chapter, but also a historic milestone. In her faith, her charitable work, and her quiet defiance of centuries-old traditions, Catherine leaves behind a legacy of courage, compassion, and conviction, qualities that will long be remembered by the royal family and by the public she served with grace.